What is going on, everybody? My name is Baloo and welcome to the jungle. This is the channel where we take a very simple approach to technical analysis. We look at the price in the context of volume using the Wyckoff method. If that is something that interests you, then why don't you hit the subscribe button or leave me a follow on Twitch. In today's episode, I want to just cover what is going on with the market. I want to discuss Bitcoin because Bitcoin's price structure is very healthy and, in my opinion, kind of ahead of schedule, as well as I want to take a look at Ethereum, kind of do the Bitcoin Ethereum pair as well to kind of ascertain some of the other indicators that are going to give us health in the market. And then I'm going to open it up to you guys. I might take a look at a couple of the performers that have been released in the private newsletter of the Arcane Bear. So if you aren't already signed up for the newsletter, well, you missed out on GRT. Well, maybe you didn't, but we did a newsletter on GRT and I think it's up 50% on the day today. So be sure to sign up to the newsletter. It's free and well, it actually pays you to do so. Link is in the description. Wow, we're actually up 62% on that right now. Okay, so let's get right into it. So here we are on the Bitcoin chart and oh, we are not on the Bitcoin chart. Uno momento. Gotta switch the properties here. I swear, one of these days. My apologies here, everybody. There we go. All right. Streaming. Anyways, all right. So here we are on the Bitcoin chart. Very healthy consolidation. And, it's kind of ahead of schedule. I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. We can even simplify it a little bit further and go over to the area chart. And it's a beautiful consolidation. The only thing that is kind of interesting is this one volume signature right here. But that was just an over-exuberant move in the market. A tweet that came out, or no, it was just Elon Musk adding the Bitcoin symbol to his Twitter account. Over-exuberant move, overactivity, an overactivity in the market. So we did see a lot of volume come in there. Sorry. And it came back down and tested. This is basically what was referred to as the jump across the creek, downsloping line of resistance within a trading range. We broke through that resistance, came down for a test, and that's been it. This has been the last point of support, and we've been making higher highs and higher lows ever since. Structure looks beautiful. I really like what I am seeing inside of Bitcoin. It's just beautiful. Bitcoin's doing well. The market's doing well. We're seeing that. So let's just go ahead and take a look at what is happening inside of Ethereum. Ethereum, a little bit of a different story. A lot of people drawing a lot of bearish things on top of Ethereum, but I'm not bearish on what I am seeing here. We're making higher highs and higher lows. A lot of pattern traders in the space, as I'm sure, you yourself may be a pattern trader. I come from pattern trading as well. It's one of the easier methods to pick up early in your trading career, and it holds a lot of validity. But the ascending wedge formation is considered a bearish pattern, and that's kind of something that I don't typically align with. But because the structure is making higher highs and higher lows, sometimes you just got to really make it simple. Are we making ground on the asset? Are we going higher? Are we finding support at higher levels? Just keep it simple. We're making higher highs and higher lows on Ethereum. We do have to break through this level here. Jack, you're not that late, but you're actually quite early. I was a little bit late. So yeah, so basically, we're just taking the stairs up. We want to see us break through some of this local resistance here, which is the local high right here. So right at about 1850 on Ethereum, we're waiting for that large move. I am actually surprised that we haven't seen a large move yet inside of Ethereum. I don't know if that has anything to do with this CME futures launch. I don't know. I can speculate all I want on that, but I did expect us to have a little bit more of an aggressive move by now. My targets for the next kind of level of consolidation is somewhere around the level of $2,400 to $2,600 in Ethereum, hovering around the $2,500 mark. Nice even number. But, we could definitely go to higher levels as well. Yeah, accumulating ETH every month after salary, it's a good strategy. Dollar cost averaging into this market is one of many strategies that I use. I do short-term swings, kind of scalp day trades, not very often because we're in a bull market, but I do those. I do longer-term holds. I buy futures contracts, I buy options contracts, and I dollar cost average purchasing, that's it, throughout the market. And for the majority of that strategy, I've been purchasing Bitcoin, but I have just recently transitioned into the purchasing of Ethereum. I think that Ethereum is ready to really kind of show its legs, and now that some of these other factors like the CME futures launch on Ethereum are active and live, I think that we have some potential fuel in the tank for some higher levels. And the chart that is telling me this is the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Now, I don't get too hung up on the technicals with this chart because I do feel as though most of the traders in the space, since traditional finance showed up and futures contracts showed up, the alpha in the space is the US dollar. So, I look for setups, I chart mostly everything using the US dollar pair. But that doesn't mean that I can't reference other charts to kind of look for structure and kind of higher high, higher low structure. There is still validity to using these other pairs. So here we're looking at the performance of Ethereum when compared to the performance of Bitcoin. And it looks as though we've kind of hit a bottom on the overall structure. You could draw an inverse head and shoulders here, but the long and short of it is we're making higher highs and we're making higher lows. And that's kind of how I like to chart the alternative currency pairs. I just look for, is there an outperformance occurring? And it looks as though we are seeing a bit of an outperformance in Ethereum when compared to Bitcoin. And this is a fantastic sign, not only for Ethereum, but for the entire altcoin space as well. And we're seeing that in some of the performers here. So if I just scroll down to the newsletter, one that was released, this is GRT, the graph, this is parabolic. We are definitely in take profit territory now on the graph. Let me just go down to a lower time frame. So yeah, we sent this one out in the form of a newsletter. Again, follow the links in the description on YouTube. I'm gonna have to get the links set up for Twitch. So maybe just pop by next time or just come back in a few hours and I'll have those links. Actually, you know what? I can probably just drop them in the chat. Let me go ahead and drop them in the chat here. For the free newsletter to sign up to the Arcane Bear. And you would have been brought aware of the technical setup that we are seeing or that we saw rather on GRT, and you'd be quite a happy camper if you purchased that at the time. None of these are a guarantee, but it's kind of nice to see a lot of our setups playing out. So do go ahead and follow the link that I've left in the chat to the Arcane Bear website, and consider signing up to the den as well. Although if you do sign up to the den, use my link. All right, so yeah, GRT, we're going parabolic. We kind of had this cup and handle formation occurring inside of the accumulation range on GRT. I'll just kind of break this down so you can see what it is that I saw. We got a huge buyer's climax on launch and a really nasty sell-off on the graph. A lot of people got really bullish, and it's a pretty interesting protocol. So I understand why a lot of people got bullish. It's basically a way for coders and app developers to be able to index code into one place so that you're able to query that code and get, it's basically like a Google for blockchain code. So it's kind of necessary, it's kind of needed in the space, and it allows for a lot of ease of movement in the development of a lot of these protocols. So very much so needed in the space from the fundamentals aspect. And the technicals, we reached a bottom down here at the beginning of the year, mid-January, and we've been making higher highs and higher lows ever since. So, and we're just off to the races. We had this nice upward sloping accumulation. We finally broke above the level of the buyer's climax, got a beautiful retest on there. And then once we broke the structure of this ascending channel, that's when there was basically market consensus as far as, there's no more lines that I can draw here as resistance. We're in blue sky breakout, and that's when you really get the larger moves. And that was the setup that we were seeing, and hey, we were right. Can you go quickly through how you find profit targets and what tools to use, etc.? So take profits. A lot of people like to use Fibonacci extensions. A lot of people like to, in Wyckoff we do point and figure, accumulation counts. There are many different ways that you can determine a price target. You can also just pick numbers. The price target is more so just a part of your strategy, a part of your trading plan. And it's kind of nice when you are trading these markets for you to have an if-then statement. So if this price is achieved, then I will do X, Y, or Z. Whether that is moving a stop loss up, whether that is taking 10% of the position and selling it, whether that is this, whether that is that. It's important for you to formulate a trading strategy. And it's best to do it before you're in the money, okay? Have the downside plan and have the upside plan as well, because when you're drunk on profit, it's very hard to think level-headed. So get that stuff figured out ahead of time. I can probably do a point and figure count on this accumulation. In fact, I think that I did. Now, let me see here. Yeah, I am not going to go through point and figure in the stream because it's a very large topic. If you are interested in learning or getting pointed towards some of the resources for point and figure, go ahead and join the Discord. There is a free Discord down below. It allows you to join the community. When I'm going live, you get a lot of updates. There's a lot of free PDFs and material that focus on the Wyckoff method, and point and figure charts is one of those ways that we use to get price projections. Again, nothing's a guarantee. It does, when a target is hit, it doesn't mean that that's it, and we're going to go down from there. It's just your opportunity to stop, look, and listen, maybe take some profits, and understand that there may be time before the other move continues. So let me see here. Yeah, the up-sloping channels and down-sloping channels can be very difficult, Jack. You kind of need to ignore a lot of the schematics that we're giving you in the bear den, because they can just... Upsloping is nice because you're making higher highs and higher lows, but you have to have a lot of flexibility with those ones. Focus on the sideways ones, because you can often get confluence inside of the sideways ones, and you can get a sideways break that goes to a higher level, and it kind of ends up being ascending. Downsloping ones are a lot harder, and I recommend that you wait for good confirmation on those. I focus on structure, higher highs and higher lows, seeing that transition from a downtrend to an uptrend. Long-term investments, you see targets for profit taking as well for them, or do you have a specific strategy? So in the Wyckoff method, basically Richard D. Wyckoff and some other stock operators like Jesse Livermore, they kind of devised this strategy where they were getting into stocks, and well, they were trading stocks. All markets are pretty much the same because they all deal with humans and emotion. But they were purchasing stocks during accumulation, and then they were waiting for markup. So these guys were playing long swings, multi-month, sometimes even multi-year swings. These guys were playing, and they would buy an accumulation. And then they would watch all of the reaccumulations and keep an eye open for distribution. So it's very much so about, let me just pull this out of the way so I can kind of show you. It's very much so about watching every consolidation and giving up the money on the bottom and giving up the money on the top and making the most out of the middle. So, they're doing very long holds, as, a lot of people in crypto are interested in doing. A lot of people don't want to do that high frequency trading. You can do this. So basically you would have an accumulation range, and then you would have a break of that range to the next level. Then you will get potentially a reaccumulation, a break of that level, a reaccumulation, a break of that level, reaccumulation, a break, a failure, sign of weakness. Now you've got a bit of a distribution occurring, and then you have a markdown, redistribution. So basically, we're throwing these trading ranges on these levels, and every time you break the range, you would be buying until you get to kind of a blow off top, or kind of, a very volatile topping pattern. So, you wouldn't be buying in the consolidation itself. You would buy here. Let's actually change this to green. You would buy here. You would buy here. And you even would have bought here. So the last one obviously would have been a bad place to buy, but you're following the strategy, so you would have done it. And then you would have seen some distribution occur. Now there was no such thing as leverage back in the 1920s when this method was developed. So, your volatility tolerance was a lot higher. You were holding the actual asset, you were holding these stock certificates themselves. And so, you could handle that volatility, you could handle those swings without losing any of the stock itself. So then you would be looking to potentially confirm this as a distribution. And then you would kind of say to yourself, well, this is looking very much so like distribution. And then you have a decision. Do you sell all of your position at the LPSY, which is the break of the lower end of the range? So you would sell right here. Or do you sell a portion with anticipation of possible reaccumulation after decline, which we see quite often in crypto? You get a lot of those formations, Link, Band, KNC, there's tons and tons of these that are forming these reaccumulations after decline. But also in crypto, you kind of get these blow off tops. So you're missing the top. You don't get to sell the top, and you are not buying the bottom. You're making the money in the middle, is I guess what I'm trying to say here. So, if this was a Bitcoin chart, we're still in some incredible profits, basically. You're buying every one of those consolidations, and you're taking the stairs up, and if you were to basically it's a large topic, but when I say you're giving up the top, in the example of the last cycle when Bitcoin went from 10,000 to 20,000, you're not selling 20 grand, you're basically selling potentially 12 if you're lucky. So you're giving up a lot. But you're also making a lot in the middle. Anybody that tries to call a top or makes a price prediction for the top, you cannot make price predictions for the top. You pretty much need to ignore those people because they're just guessing, and your guess is probably as good as their guess. You can take profits at any point. When you are in profit, nobody loses money taking profit. So you can take profit along the way if you feel like maybe a top is coming in, but you wait for the distribution to confirm, and you wait for the downside move, and then you try and scale out of that position from that point forwards, is basically the methodology that Jesse Livermore and Richard D. Wyckoff were following. So I hope that kind of answers. There is no way to get a price target or anything. There's no easy answer. You know, there's no easy answer. Okay. So we got one comment here. I have a few investments that are already 3 to 4x that I'm thinking about taking profits from. If you're thinking about taking profits, take profits. You know, nobody goes broke taking profit. You don't want to kick yourself that you didn't. And how much is entirely up to you. You know, it doesn't have to be the entire amount. It can be a percentage. Where do you think we are in the market? Where do you think we're going? And what percentage of profit taking aligns with that? Do you have the opportunity, you know, if you're at 4x, if you sold 25% of the position, you have a zero risk position, which is pretty valuable because emotion is one of the biggest money killers inside of the space. So if you have no emotional attachment to the fact that there is really no there's no investment as far as your initial capital dollars, that's kind of a good strategy. Too late to get in on GRT? I think so. So buying these kind of straight up candles, you just have to wait for a consolidation. They always occur. Does it kind of take a breather and maybe head up to high levels? Crazy pops in price. If you are the type of person who is looking to make money this cycle, then I don't recommend that you buy these huge 40, 50% moves to the upside. I recommend that you find other coins that do have value, that do have utility, and maybe don't have the structure, or maybe have similar structure in an earlier sense. Like, you know, this is very similar to what happened in Theta. Very early on in Theta, we had this large cup and handle. So go look for them. Go look for the cup and handles. Whatever exchange you are trading on, be it Binance, be it Kraken, whatever, go and get every single asset that exchange offers and put it on a watch list. Another reason for you to join the Discord, I can actually give you a text file so that we can just load your watch list with the entire Binance, you know, futures watch list, or the DeFi index, or any of these. We can just load it into your trading view. But yeah, you know, if you're only here for this cycle, or you're not wanting to endure your investments through a bear market, which you shouldn't be because you're already pretty late in the cycle. We're in like year 3 of this cycle, basically. You're going to need to think very, very long term. So if you are buying GRT right now, are you here for a year or are you here for 10? Because if you're here for 10, it really doesn't matter where you buy. It doesn't matter if you're at accumulation. It doesn't matter if you're at reaccumulation. It doesn't matter if you're at the all-time high. If Graph is to be around for 10 years, it's kind of a new project, so you're really taking a swing in the risk direction with that one. But yeah, I hope that answers. Okay. Yeah, Fibonacci is easy. Garden Profit wants to learn point and figure. It does require some study, but then you kind of get used to it. But yeah, use whatever take profit method is working for you. Yeah, Garden Profit also says the longer you stay in, the more safe you should be. In that is also correct. You know, the longer, if you're getting in an accumulation, you really don't care about every single reaccumulation, and you also don't care about the losses at the top, the missed opportunity of the P&L, because you were the smart money. You know, smart money buys the bottom, dumb money, and these aren't my terms, dumb money buys the top. So, you know, where are we in the cycle? Where do you think you lie? I think most of us here right now, we are not brand new retail investors. Corona brought a lot of new retail investors into the space because a lot of people lost their jobs and they tried to find ways to make money online. And when you type that into YouTube, crypto shows up. So a lot of people are here because of that. But yeah, just realize that, you know, there are other opportunities out there, and it's in your best interest to learn the technicals, learn what an accumulation looks like, do your due diligence on the demand side, so make sure that the fundamentals are there, because it's not just about a fancy white paper. I usually start with the technicals. I want to see that there's good structure, so TA is very valuable. Make sure there's good structure and then back that up with the demand side, which is the fundamental analysis. Okay. What do I think of Unibright? So Unibright. I think that's just Uni, right? No, that's Uniswap. Unibright. What is Unibright? What's the ticker on that one? I think that's RLC, is it not? No. iExec RLC. Is that Unibright? No, that's not Unibright. Okay, so it's, oh, that's a Bitcoin pair. We'll go to hit BTC. Not many offerings for Unibright, so that's kind of, you know, I do like to see these projects show up on liquid exchanges. Not great. Huge volatility here. The price swings, man, this is not some, if there's a futures contract for Unibright, don't buy it, because the swings here are intense. You've got really big swings. This is a spot play for sure. Yeah, huge swings. Do not, I don't think that this is offered anywhere for contracts, and if they are, don't buy them. Let me just go to a higher time frame here. Let's go with the 3-day and let's see what we can see. So it does look like there's some data missing. I'm sure there's a longer term chart, but we'll go here. We'll say, I like to use wicks because wicks are kind of the worst case scenario. So I'll grab that and I'll go to the buyer's climax right here. Oops. And I'm going to make that the buyer's climax. And it looks like we've had our first up thrust here. So we're going to have to wait and see on this one. Looks like, yeah, kind of a bearish divergence there on the 3-day. I think this one's not ready yet. That could be just some liquidity issues with the fact that it's only on a couple exchanges that aren't, you know, they're not some of the larger exchanges. DEX exchanges kind of are where you go for kind of these really small ones that haven't been around for a while. I think Unibright's been around for a little while. I don't know much about the fundamentals on it, but from the technicals, I think there's plenty of time to dive into the fundamentals on Unibright. We don't have the technical indicators that I like to see just yet. We have made a higher high. You know, this could be considered a sign of strength. You know, we did close candles above, but we got a little bit of a sell-off here. This is quite a nasty candle at about 20% candle to the downside if you aren't including the wicks. You want to see this kind of get on top of the range here. So we want to get on top of the range and hold before, you know, potentially making another move to the upside. So yeah, I think you have time on Unibright personally, but what do I know? Okay, Utrust, UTK. You know what? That one is freaking hilarious. So, you know, I bought that one in the last cycle. I did not care about it. I guess I just ended up hodling UTK, which is crazy that it's actually coming back, which just goes to show you, you know, these long-term holds, they're not always a guarantee, but sometimes things come back. So, you know, Utrust seems to be coming back, and we've got some nice structure inside of Utrust, and I just happen to hold a bag, which is freaking hilarious because I had no intention of making any money off of that one. I have a couple coins that just, you know, aren't coming back. A-Chain. Anybody have A-Chain? It's from the last cycle. That one's useless. That one ain't coming back. But I'm surprised to see that Utrust is coming back. So yeah, we have higher high, higher low structure. We have an ascending channel, kind of this break of this sideways consolidation range. We can actually go down to a lower time frame. Let's go to the 8-hour here. And it looks nice. You know, we had a nice candle here. Volume candle came in. That was the first break of this buyer's climax line, met with a ton of supply, and that supply has been absorbed. So, you know, when you have a ton of supply enter the market and the price continues to the upside, it's an indication that this structure is very healthy, and we've lost a lot of the weak hands as a result of that selling pressure. So now we're just testing on top of that range. Got a nice successful test, sign of strength. We're looking to break past that high there. I think that there's some bullish news going on with UTrust, and that seems to be working. We're getting a nice structure inside of the price here. So you've got good fundamentals, of which I know nothing about. I just hear that, UTrust is kind of good again. That's all I hear in the free Telegram chats. And we have good price structure. So this is one that you might want to pay attention to, because this is one that hasn't popped yet. And we have nice price structure. We're in an ascending channel. The volatility is not too extreme. We're seeing higher highs. We're seeing higher lows. At some point, we are going to reach a point where no bearish trader can draw a bearish line on it anymore, and we're going to see some price appreciation inside of that. Not financial advice, there's never any guarantees. Again, you need to do your own research and back that up with the fundamental side, but from what I'm seeing on the technical side, I think it looks good. What are your thoughts on Prosper? PROS, it's a new listing on Binance, and they have a lot of plans on the roadmap for Q1. Roadmap, Q1, don't care. You got to make sure that the technicals are there first. So let's go ahead and take a look at the technicals. A lot of projects that do really great things go nowhere for a very long time. Cardano is a good example of that. Cardano did nothing for a very long time. A lot of people gave up on Cardano. How long do you want to tie up your capital? If you're here in terms of decades, you really don't need to worry about the technical side. Just dive into the fundamentals, make sure that it is something that is needed in the space, make sure that it has value, and we're in such an asymmetric and innovative space that you should do well as long as you're thinking in terms of decades. When you're thinking shorter term, you want to back that up with some technicals so that your capital is not sitting around for too long. Okay, PROS. Okay, it's available on Binance. Brand new coin, not enough structure to really make a decision on this one. We can go down to the 4 hour. It's in accumulation right now. You can draw a trading range on that. So we can go ahead and draw our horizontal ray here, draw that at the buyer's climax, kind of a crappy buyer's climax. It's not going to give you a very clear signal, and then go down to the automatic reaction down here. This is our trading range. You want to see it respect the trading range. Watch out if it dips below. This is not an opportunity to buy at a discount, because this is such a new coin. Buying reaccumulations where it breaks the bottom of the range, you're in a nice trending coin. That's a good move. You can get a very good price if you're buying springs on reaccumulation, but in accumulation, you're looking for a lot more confirmation. You're looking for a lot more information that is telling you that the asset is healthy and that the demand is there and that the market is accepting it as a project that has value. So wait for confirmation. And what does that mean? That means, you can see it come down to the bottom, and if it were to go to the top, we're giving up 70%. There is no confirmation for this 70% range inside of this trading range. So keep an eye on it, monitor what is going on with this trading range, see if you can get some bullish signals. But basically what you're looking for is you are going to look for a sign of strength, and because it's a new coin, it's going to be a hell of a sign of strength. So you're probably going to want to FOMO into this thing, and then it'll probably come down and look to test the top of the range. Now, if it doesn't come for a complete test, sometimes they just pop out and flag, so you might get a sign of strength and it might just flag. Keep an eye on that flag. Make sure that it doesn't look like distribution. Again, join the free Discord. Grab a copy of some of these schematics. Also, you can just type in the internet. Just Google Richard D. Wyckoff. Google the Wyckoff method. It's a really powerful method. It kind of really brings a lot of these strategies together. There's a lot of confluence with a lot of other strategies using the Wyckoff method. It's a fantastic method. I highly encourage you to learn it, or at least know what it is. Okay. All right, what else do we got here? Nexo. Serum looks like it's getting ready to go if it has not already. We were charting that in the bear den on our bear forage, weekly bear forage, soon to be coming to YouTube once we dial in the format. So look out for that. So yeah, we can take a look at Serum very quick. Basically, there's a resistance line here from the here, and pull that across. And it looks as though we're leaving this box here. So hopefully you are already in Serum, and that's why you're asking me. You're wondering about the price appreciation potential. As far as getting a trade, you're going to want to make sure that there is a bit of a flag that develops. So let me just pull this. So watch this area right here. It does look as though it's kind of rounding over a little bit. A lot of supply came in to kind of stop the action of the stop the ascending action on this one. Could be considered absorption because we are rising on lower volume. You really want to monitor this one. I would like to see a flag develop, but if it doesn't develop, I mean, you really should have been paying attention to Serum down here. This would have been a fantastic entry right here off the sign of strength, or down here. I think Serum is just getting going on this one. So, you know, whatever strategy you're going to be employing, just make sure that you have the appropriate volatility tolerance, because there are futures contracts available on this one. So I do not advise that you are buying futures contracts on this one at this point, unless you really know what you're doing and you're jumping down to some smaller time frames. So that's it on Serum. Let's go ahead and take a look at, which one was it? I think it was Nexo. Nexo, I don't have the ticker on Nexo, so let's just go to CoinGecko here. Nexo. What is Nexo? It's up, it's at $1.63. What kind of price structure are we looking at? All right, yeah, I mean, it's going. It's, we're in price discovery mode. This is not the stuff that I advise that you buy. If you're in it, congratulations. But if you are not, you know, don't FOMO into this stuff, guys. We don't know how long the bull market will go. Do you have the skills? Do you possess the skills to be able to manage this trade if you were to enter here? Do you have the ability, the emotional tolerance to be able to handle this trade if you were to enter it? You really need to focus on education and make sure that you're getting in at the right time. So Nexo, banking on crypto, what does it do? So it's an exchange. Is it a decentralized exchange? Earn, borrow exchange. What do they do that is interesting? EU licensed and regulated financial institution. Earn interest. So it's kind of doing the block pay. Okay, so they have a card. So be very careful with this kind of stuff, okay? Let me take a look at the cards. So many of these cards, these card projects, they create false demand, okay? Be very careful with this, because if they have a program that requires you to hold Nexio tokens to qualify for a card, what happens is people get the card, and you know, once they get the card, they just dump the tokens, and you know, it can really screw you over. So be careful with that. Do a little bit of due diligence on this one. I don't like the chart. I've seen a lot of this kind of stuff fail before. So not necessarily fail, but from the investment side, you can see incredible upside, and then, you know, it does come down. So be very careful with this one would be my advice. I don't like the technical side. I am apprehensive of the fundamental side. So please proceed with caution. Ocean. Let's take a look at Ocean. We'll do Ocean, and we will do SPI, and that is it. Oh wait, no, that is not it, because I promised Bird. My apologies. I did drop a link in the Telegram chat for Bird. So you know what? Let's go ahead and take a look at Bird, because you guys have probably just been waiting for me to talk about Bird. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now, because that is poor form to get people onto your Twitch in a Telegram chat and then not show them the asset. So we're going to take a look at Bird here. So I'm going to look at the Ethereum pair on Bird, but I'm also going to look at the US dollar pair. Now I'm focusing more on the Ethereum pair for now with Bird.money, just because, you know, most of the traders who are invested in Bird, most of the larger investors who are holding Bird right now, they're focused a little bit more on the Ethereum side. So I think that a lot of the signals that we're waiting for are going to happen on the Ethereum side. So for that reason, I'm focused on Ethereum for now. If Bird becomes a little bit more accessible and available on some larger exchanges, I know that they got a listing on gate.io, not a very liquid exchange. People are buying and selling 10 Bird at a time. It's really not much you know, action happening there. There's huge spreads, and you know, you're almost better off paying the gas fees to get the price that you want on selling Bird. On Uniswap. Gate.io is just not quite there yet as far as the liquidity is concerned. But, you know, we are inside of this ascending channel here. I'll highlight this in pink, make it a little bit easier to see. Actually, let's make it magenta. We can do something brighter. Let's just do yellow. Okay. So I'll just take these down for now. So yeah, you know, we're holding this structure. Now, basically, when you're doing any sort of sending channel, you want to kind of hold a lot of value early on in the channel. So you can see this kind of triangle formation, this kind of A, B, C here. You want to line up here, I'll just show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so we go down to the bottom of where it kind of blew up here, and we're gonna drag that across, focusing a lot of energy at lining it up on this next low. Then we're going to bring it up to the local high, okay? And we're going to just kind of make a few adjustments there. And this is our trading range as far as I'm concerned. This is our upsloping trading range. So these 2 points set the angle, and this point sets the width of the trading range. So we got an over exuberant move on this where we broke the top of the range. That was unable to hold, but we will call that our buyer's climax right here. Buyer's climax. And then we came back into the range. We rallied up to make a higher high. Make note of that with just this dotted line right here. We came down to test the top of the channel. A break of the top of the channel and a test that holds. Those are some of the biggest moves that you can get. That's what we saw in GRT. Unfortunately, Bird was not able to do that. So, you know, we did get a rejection down to the bottom of the channel here, but we're holding it really nicely. We're holding it very nicely. Here on the 4 hour, you know, we're above the 147 EMA, which is just kind of close to the 150. And if we pull up the RSI, you know, there's not much info on the RSI, but, you know, there is this line of resistance here that we're kind of battling with. Let's go over to the area chart, make it a little cleaner. So kind of where it broke out back here, you can see this was the breakout, and this is now acting as resistance. So we may kind of retest down here, and we might get a break above. So this is kind of, you know, for those pattern traders out there, we're kind of forming a little bit of an ascending triangle formation, which is kind of a bullish pattern. We're doing that bullish pattern on the bottom of the trading range. So I do think that you know, it's a good place to see bullishness. You want to see support hold, and it looks as though we're developing a nice level of support, which is always good. You know, we need to develop those support levels. So, you know, this is kind of what we want to see here. It's looking good so far. I'm not gonna get into it. There's no reason to panic. Now, a lot of people are calling for a head and shoulders. So, you know, there's a couple of different ways, but the larger that you draw it, the better. So if this is the head, the shoulder, and this is the head, and this is the other shoulder, a lot of people are waiting for that neckline to break. But here's the thing. This is a low, and this is a higher low. Head and shoulders is a trend change. You have to consider head and shoulders as a trend change. It's one of the easiest patterns for new people to kind of identify, and they start seeing them everywhere. They see the volatility that comes along with a head and shoulders breakout. But at its core, it's a trend change. Whether it's an inverse or a regular, it's just a trend change. And the trend has not changed here. We're making higher highs and we're making higher lows. So I'm not worried about the structure of Bird at this moment. That's kind of what I'm seeing inside of Bird. So we will now go ahead and take a look at Ocean. Very good P&F targets on Bird too. We were talking about some targets how to get targets and using point and figure. I actually have a quarter of an Ethereum as one of the targets on Bird. Nothing is a guarantee, but that would be pretty sweet if we got a quarter of Ethereum per Bird as a price target achieved on this one. But do your own research. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Ocean. Do I have Ocean on here? Yeah, there we go, Ocean. Ocean's having a nicer day here. So it looks like we're trending in the right direction on Ocean. I've got a lot of drawings on here. Let me just clean that up. That's way too many drawings. So let's go down to the daily. I like to start out on the daily and just kind of identify the trend. And the trend is up, so very good. But sure that we get in at a good position. If you're in Ocean right now, I think you just need to endure the volatility and enjoy the ride, take profits along the way. But let's go ahead and go down to the 8-hour. And we kind of have this trading range that has been broken here. So here is our local buyer's climax on this accumulation range. Just gonna mark that buyer's climax. And then we came down to our local low, which is somewhere around here. I'm just gonna call this the automatic reaction. It's not really an automatic, let's do it right there. Why not? Automatic reaction right here. So we did break the lower end of the range. We came back in, kind of battled with it a little bit, got our minor sign of strength here, minor sign of strength here. Then we got our nice test. You can see this beautiful test here. If I go on to the area chart, you can see how nice that test is. What does that mean? So we've broken out of the range and we've come down and tested it and broke up from there. So this is looking really good. So where can we expect to see some retracement of support? So if I go to this high right here and draw a line across, we broke that, we tested that. So, we're looking for a break here. A breakout of this level at just over $1. Dollars are big evens. A lot of supply comes in at the dollar area on any asset. When you hit $1, a lot of supply comes in. It's just one of those psychological levels that humans like. These bars are human behavior. These bars are human emotion, fear, greed. That's all we're looking at here. So we got close to $1 and we're seeing supply enter back in. So if we break above that, I think that would be a good buy signal. You want to get a nice solid candle close above that. So at least the hourly, if we go down to the hourly, you can even employ moving averages at this point on Ocean. So yeah, we hit the dollar, we came back. You want to just keep an eye on these moving averages here. So I've got the 10, the 20, and the 146. Is going to have a lot more value very far in the future. Peter says, greetings from the Netherlands. What is your prediction for Ethereum this month? I do not make predictions, and anybody that does make a prediction should be ignored. I think that I have targets somewhere around 24 to 2600, but those are just my targets. And when those targets are hit, I'm going to adjust my positions. I may take some profits. I'm going to adjust my stop losses. That's all that those targets are going to tell me. I think that Ethereum is severely undervalued, and I'm not going to tell you what I think Ethereum will get to this cycle, but it is a hell of a lot higher than $2,500. So this month, I do not know. Nobody does. So just take that with a grain of salt. Watch. You're in a good place. We're in a bull market. Enjoy the price appreciation, take profits along the way, and enjoy the ride. All right, that is all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for joining into the stream, and don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Twitch doesn't have all that fancy stuff. I'm kind of really starting to like Twitch. I think that Twitch offers a lot more. The algorithm is so much nicer on Twitch, and it's just a more community-based place. So I haven't decided where I'm going to go full bore, but I'm kind of liking the Twitch platform more and more. So if you are on Twitch, thank you for joining in, and thank you for following and tuning into this content. So again, that's all the time I have for today. If you enjoyed it, thank you, and leave comments in the comments section. This gives me an idea for future streams. And until next time, please trade safe. It's a jungle out there. Peace.